Hello friends, and welcome to our presentation on the Common Application. I am your host, Ms. Erica Espejo of Futurology, and this is basically a video on how to fill out the Common Application. I'll go over some background on the Common Application, what items you need to have before filling out the Common Application, who uses the Common Application, and most of all, what to expect on the Common Application. So when you're filling out, you can follow along and find out what you need to know and how you need to fill it out to the best of your ability. Again, I did mention I'm from Futurology. Futurology is Capital Unified's free resource for all students and families where you can receive college and career information. We do one-on-one appointments, workshops, videos like this on YouTube, and we're here to help all students understand the college and career process. And we have a Futurology counselor located at our high schools in the district. We have Miss Wen over at Elisa Niguel High School. You have myself, Miss Erica, over at Capital Valley and San Clemente. You have Miss Rengifo over at Dana Hills and Tesoro. And Miss Yazdani over at San Juan Hills. And best of all four of us have had previous reading experience when it comes to applications. We have reviewed applications in our past before we became college and career counselors, so we know what's up. All right, so what is that Common Application you keep hearing about? So the Common Application is one single college application form online used by 900 colleges and universities. And who uses the Common Application? A lot of four-year private colleges use the Common Application. If you're applying to some of the out-of-state public schools, you also might find them on Common Application. And if you're considering applying to international universities outside the USA, they also might be using the Common Application. But the point being, there's over 900 colleges and universities that utilize the Common Application. So when you're going through your final college list, always make sure that the colleges that you're planning to apply to utilize the Common Application. You can save a lot of time by filling out the Common Application. The Common Application consists of a couple of different sections. So for your profile, this is basically your name, preferred name, address, contact information, etc. Next is the family section. You will need to have your parents or guardian information indicated here and any other sibling information here as well. Education, so this is your complete high school history. So every high school you've attended up to now will need to be indicated on here. Testing. If you would like to send test scores to the colleges and universities you're applying to, whether it be the ACT or the SAT, if you would also like to indicate any of your subject tests for SAT, or if you would like to indicate your AP test scores, this is a section to do so. In terms of ACT and SAT, you'll find that in this year's application cycle, a lot of private colleges and universities have gone test optional, but every college and universities define test optional a little bit differently. So you might want to consult and check how they define test optional. The next section is activities. In this section, you can include up to 10 different activities, be it volunteer work, clubs, sports, organizations, hobbies, work, etc. here in this section. The writing section, we do have an additional workshop and additional videos that go more in depth with the Common App essay. And this section is where you're gonna enter in the Common App essay. The next section is courses and grades. Some colleges and universities will require you to enter in courses and grades at the schools you've attended. So you always want to make sure that if this is a requirement that you need to do some data entry, so you might need to have a copy of your transcript to fill out this section. The next section is a place where you can indicate if you've had dual enrollment at, let's say, Saddleback or Irvine Valley College. You can indicate if you've taken additional college courses in the section where you can add colleges. Supplemental essays. Some colleges and universities will require an additional essay in addition to the Common App essay. So again, you always want to make sure the colleges on your college list that you want to apply to maybe have an extra essay you would need to submit. In addition, you will also need to add in your recommenders. You'll need your counselor's information, you'll need their email addresses, and you also will need your teacher or any of your other recommenders' email address for this section. And the final section is to submit and pay for your application. Every application has a different price, and you will also need to just find out what that price is. It's usually on the admissions website for the college and university that you want to apply to. And if you do qualify for a fee waiver, you can also indicate that on the application as well. So there's a couple of things you need to do before you apply to the Common Application. First of all, you also want to make sure that your college list is up to date, and these are the colleges that you wish to apply to. You also want to make sure that the colleges that you're applying to are utilizing the Common App. You also want to make a Common App login, and that's really simple to do. All you need to do is go on this following website right here, apply.commonapp.org, and I could just walk you through. It's very simple. This is what the website looks like. And you just need to just go ahead and create an account. And let's get started. Most of you are going to be a first-year student. So you will indicate an email address. Make sure this is an email address that you check consistently. You'll confirm your email address, and you'll choose a password according to these parameters listed here. You'll retype and confirm your password. And you want to use the name that appears on your legal documents. So the name that appears on your passport, ID, or transcript. You'll also want to include your phone number here, date of birth, your address. I would usually recommend adding in your permanent address, the address that you wish to receive materials in the mail to. This is a question that asks if you are in a EU-based country. We're in the US, so clearly the answer is no. And what this best describes you, and that would be applying as a first-year student and plan to start college in 2022 or 2023. Seniors, you'll be starting university in 2023, and you will also need to review the following here, these acknowledgement boxes, in order to create an account. And again, that website is apply.commonapp.org. Let's take a look at the other checklist items we need to have before we begin our application. We'd also like to know our personal info, so just making sure just having your social security number, if applicable, on hand. Contact information for recommenders, so making sure we have the correct emails for our counselor, teachers, and other folks who are going to be writing our letters of recommendation. The Common Application will ask a wealth of information about your parents. So basically, name, email address, what is their current employer, if applicable, where they graduate university, and graduating year from said university, if applicable. You will also have to have a list of activities, hobbies, organizations, volunteer work readily available. Futurology, if you look in the link in the bio, we do have a guide on how to list your clubs, activities, and hobbies to just have that ready to go when you apply for Common Application, when you apply using the Common Application. All right, we're about to get right into the application. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can follow along on how to approach the Common Application. So this is what my dashboard looks like once I've logged into Common Application. So basically here you will find your Common Application ID on the upper right-hand corner. And basically, if I already know what colleges for sure I want to apply to, I would go to the My Colleges tab. And I would go here under College Search to just start adding colleges that I wish to apply to. So for example, Loyola Marymount University. I can go ahead and click the Add College right here. It's been added to my college list. Or I could add in Soka University over here. And these colleges will appear on My Colleges dashboard. We'll get to this section in a few. All right, we're over at the Common App tab. Profile is very basic information about yourself. So basically, you're going to have your first given name, legal name, already pre-populated based on the information presented when you've created your account. If you have a nickname or a preferred name, you can go ahead and indicate this here. This is a name that the admissions folks are going to address you when they call you and when they send you emails and other communications. So if there's a preferred name that you would like to go by, maybe it's a shorthand version of your first name, you can indicate it in this section here. If you've gone by any other previous legal names, names that have appeared on legal documents, you can go ahead and indicate that information right here. Your date of birth will also be entered in here. It'll also be pre-populated when you've created your Common App login. This is where you'll be entering your home address under permanent home address. But if you have an alternate address you would like the universities to send you information to, you could also indicate that here as well. For your phone number, you can indicate whether you want to submit your home or mobile number. This is where admissions folks can contact you if they have any further questions about the application. And also, if you like to indicate both phone numbers, you can also do that under alternate phone if you want to indicate both home and mobile numbers. Demographics. In this section, you will check the boxes that are applicable to you. So they have information about gender, legal sex, preferred pronouns, armed forces status if you're a dependent of someone in the armed forces, if you identify as Hispanic or Latino, Latina, Latinx, and also information about your culture and ethnicity here. This is mainly used for demographic purposes. For languages, this is also a required section of the basic information. So if you're only proficient in, say, English, you would pick one here. But if, example, you're taking a Spanish class, you can select 2. But if you also speak a language other than English at home and you're taking an alternate foreign language class, you can also select 3 right here. And you'll indicate if it's your first language, speak, read, or write, or spoken at home. For geography and nationality, you'll select your birth country, city of birth, number of years you lived in the United States, and you will select your citizenship status. So you can indicate whether you're a U.S. citizen, if you maintain dual citizenship within the U.S. and another country, if you are a permanent resident, U.S. refugee or asylee, or if you are AB 540 undocumented, etc. It is optional to add in your social security number, mainly if you indicate this earlier on. If you have a social security number, this will give financial aid information to process your info for financial aid grants, etc. by each private colleges that you apply to. If you qualify for a common application fee waiver, if you meet any of these requirements, you can self-indicate that on this section as well. And this is also optional here if you would like to connect with a US Strive member. All right, so the family section. This gets pretty lengthy and it'll start asking questions about your parents or guardians. You'll indicate your parents' marital status, whether married, separated, divorced, never married, widow, or if they're in a civil union. Which of your parents do you make your permanent home with? And if you have any children of your own. So I'll just briefly go over what is asked of each for the parent section. You'll indicate if they're your mother, father, or have limited information about the parent, whether or not the parent is living. You'll indicate their given name, their legal name here. You'll indicate their email right here. And if you have the phone, if they would like to have their phone number here. occupation, so just choose the best one that describes what your parent does for a living, and what is their education level. So if, for example, they've graduated from high school, you can indicate that here. But you can scroll down in this drop-down menu. If they've attended, say, if they've graduated from college or a university, you can go ahead and indicate that here. How many number of colleges that they have attended. And you can go ahead and find a college here. So let's, for example, if one of my parents went to Fullerton, I would indicate that here. And what had been the year that was received, and also with the degree that was received. So you would need to know what information, this type of information from your parents, because it is required to have the year, the degree received, and the name of the university if it applies to your parent. So let's look up sibling information here. So if you have any siblings, let's say you have 2 siblings, you can go ahead and just enter that information here. How old they are. And again, this is also will be used for any private merit or aid if you do get into the university, because they also want to see how many dependents are with your parents, how many dependents your parents support. All right, now we're in the education section. So in this section, you will enter in your high school information. Now you're going to first enter in the high school you are currently at right now. So this is done by high school name. So let's look up Dana Hills. Let's say I'm a Dana Hills student. There it is right there. I would select it, continue. Date of entry. So when in doubt, I could always look at my transcript and see when fall grade 9 started. And so I'm looking at my transcript right now. It says grade 9 fall 2019. So when in doubt, school usually typically starts in August. So August 1st, 2019. We're not a boarding school. Our district does not have boarding schools, so I would click no. Will I graduate from this high school? Yes. Graduation date. They only really need the month and the year. So graduation will likely take place in May, and it will be 2023. That's next year. And if I'm planning to graduate early, I can also indicate that here as well. But if none of these apply to me, I can click no change in progression. Now, if I attended any other schools, let's say I was a transfer student within a district, or I attended a high school outside of our district, or I attended a high school not in California, I will go ahead and indicate that here as well. Colleges want to see your most complete high school history on the common application, and you just do the same as you've done here for current or most recent high school. Colleges and universities. So if you've taken dual enrollment, if you've taken a summer arts class at Saddleback, you can go ahead and indicate that here. Let me show you how you can add your university coursework here. So Saddleback. So you would add the college that you've taken your classes at, your dual enrollment, Saddleback right here. Come on. And you would indicate it as dual enrollment. If it was a summer school, you can indicate that it was a summer program. And if you also receive college credit, you would also enter that in here as well. And if it was a summer class, you would enter in the dates here. So for example, let's say I took like a visual and performing arts class at Saddleback last summer. So start date and the end date. And because it was a summer class, I didn't earn a degree, I only went there for like one summer, I would just skip this section and continue. So for graduating class size, I would find that information on the transcript, and you would find that under ranking under class size. This is a section that has like your GPAs listed, and you would just use class size. So let me just put one random number here. Class ranking reporting. Class rank reporting. Our district does ranking by decile. So you would select decile and use your rank. So let's say your decile rank 5, you'd use top 50%. If your decile rank 1, top 10, 2, top 20, and so forth and so forth. So for your rank weighting, it's weighted by your academic, it's weighted academic GPA on your transcript. So you would select weighted. GPA scale reporting, we are on a 4. So that means it's on a 4.0 scale. Your cumulative GPA, basically your counselor will be uploading your official transcript. So this is where you self-report your GPA. Normally I would put in weighted total GPA. So that's that third line, weighted total GPA. So 3 points. So let's just say 3.714. And I would indicate that this is a weighted GPA. Again, your counselor will send your official transcript showcasing all 6 of your GPAs listed, and it depends on the school on how they will look and weight your GPA. All right, the next section is current or most recent year courses. In this section, I will indicate what I'm currently enrolled in as a senior. So let's say I'm taking 6 courses right now. I will indicate that we are on a semester system. And this is where I can choose where I can indicate my courses. So let's say I'm taking a foreign language class. Let's say I'm taking AP French, foreign world language. I'm taking AP French 4. And what is the course level? Advanced placement. Now let's say I'm taking a math class, like just a regular pre-calculus class. I'm taking it as a full year class. Let's see, pre-calculus. And let's see. And if it was a regular class, I would select regular. And I would do the same, again, full year. And I would do the same for the next couple of subjects indicated on here. Again, it's really important to have that transcript right in front of you. And it's also important to also spell out the course names as listed on the transcript. This is where you can indicate any honors or awards received. You'll indicate the name of the honors that you received, and you also will indicate the grade level. And if it was like school-wide, statewide, nationwide, or international. Community-based organizations. So if you've received any additional help in helping you through the college process, the college application process, you can go ahead and indicate that information here. So let's say there was an after-school program at the Boys and Girls Club. You would also indicate that information here. What was the organization name? You can scroll here. What was the name of your counselor, advisor, or mentor? First, last name, email address, and a phone number if applicable. Future plans. This is where you can indicate your career interest and the highest level of education you would like to receive. So associates, again, just repeating that what we've teach you at Futurology Associates, that's usually a 2-year degree from a community college. Bachelor's is your 4-year degree over at a 4-year university. Master's, this is additional college level courses you take after you receive your bachelor's degree. And if you're planning to go into business and getting a master's in business administration or master's in accounting, if you want to go into law. So if you have any questions about this section, feel free to schedule a one-on-one with Futurology, and we can just help you determine which one best suits you. All right, testing. So this is where you can indicate test scores here. You can self-report. When in doubt, if you can go into College Board to look up your SAT subject test scores, SAT scores, or your AP test scores. You can go into your ACT account to look up your scores, and basically you'll be self-reporting. Most colleges will want official test scores, so if you would like to submit your test scores, you can also do that officially as well. But I would also find out from the admissions office of this college you're applying to if they want self-reported or if they also want official test scores. You can choose this area if you want to, for example, indicate SAT test scores. And it'll pre-populate a section here. How many past scores report if you only want to do one. Indicate if you've taken the essay section, if you have any upcoming SATs on the horizon. And this is where you're going to indicate your scores and the date you've taken that at. Let's take a look at AP test scores. So it'll pre-populate a section here where you can indicate your AP test scores. Let's say you've taken maybe 2, date taken or planned. So you can also enter in your current AP courses here too. It's just so the colleges know that you're planning to take an AP test within that course. So you mentioned French. What was your score? Date taken or planned. And again, you can also just, again, do the same thing for future subjects as well. If you don't have a test score just yet, you can just keep this part clear, but it's always nice to know to just indicate, like even if you're currently in, that you are planning to take the AP test. The next section is the activities section. This is where you're going to input your extracurricular activities. This is why it's very helpful to have a list of clubs, organizations, volunteer work at the ready so you can fill in this section. You're allowed to enter up to 10 maximum extracurricular activities in this part. And this can be, again, hobbies, clubs, organizations, sports, family responsibilities. And let's just kind of go through on how it all works. So you would indicate if you have any activities to report. So for activity number 1, just for example, I just kind of fill this out so you have an idea. So let's say I'm in the drama club. I've done theater. I've acted in musicals and plays, etc. So I would choose the activity type. This is the category that it's in. So theater, drama. I would indicate that I'm a member. If I'm not holding any leadership position, I would just like, okay, I'm a member. And let's see, organization name. It would be the organization name spelled out. So avoid acronyms and just spell out what the club is. And basically, you would just write a brief description in 150 characters or less on what you did in that activity. And you would also indicate what grade levels did you participate in said activity. If it was during the school year or during the school break. So some of you may have done some volunteer work over the summer. This is where you can indicate that you've done something over the summer. Hours spent per week, I would always put a best estimation on here. It doesn't have to be completely accurate, but put a very accurate estimation on here. It's just so we know that this is how much time you dedicated to said craft. So if, for example, drama club, we rehearse at least 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, okay, estimate 10. Weeks spent per year, I would just usually just take our weeks of summer vacation, spring break, Thanksgiving break, holiday break, subtract it from 52, and just indicate best guess estimation on here as well. And if you would like to participate in an activity like this, such in college, you would indicate it on here. And just another example is just so you're more familiar with just how to indicate your activities, extracurriculars. So for example, let's say I'm a CCA ambassador and like, well, we can't exactly write out, just use the acronyms for CCA because an admissions rep in Michigan might not know what CCA is. So that's why we want to spell it out, College and Career Advantage. And I would just do the brief description on here, grades I participated in, if it was during school year, school break, or even all year. And I would just indicate how many hours a week I dedicated myself to having this ambassador role if I want to do something similar in college. And that's that for the activities section. And again, you can enter up to 10 different activities on this section as well. The next section is the writing section, and here, this is where you're gonna copy and paste your Common App essay. So once you have a final draft of your Common App essay, this is where you're gonna copy and paste it on here. And this will tell you if the Common App essay is required for any of the schools that you've indicated on your colleges tab. So for example, Loyola Marymount University will require the Common App essay. Not required is Soka University of America. So basically you'll choose the prompt that you are answering, and you'll copy and paste your Common App essay into this section. You want to make sure that it is formatted correctly and that you are posting the correct Common Application essay into the box right here. So you always want to double check that this is the essay that you want to present and that is the final draft, and you're not accidentally posting a working draft onto here. So very important to keep that in mind. We do have workshops and we do have videos on the Common Application. So if you need any assistance or need some review time with one of the Futurology counselors, we're here to assist you on having an extra pair of eyes on your Common Application, especially your data essay section. All right, the next section of the Common Application is courses and grades. Depending on the university that you are applying to, you might be required to fill out this section. So this is where your transcript will come in handy to enter your courses and grades. As you can see here, Loyola Marymount University will require you to enter in your courses and grades from high school. And if you notice here, Soka University does not require you to enter your courses and grades. So this will be a case-by-case scenario, and depending on if the university will require you to self-report your courses from high school. The universities that you're applying to via Common Application will receive an official transcript from your school counselor, so it's very important to report these grades and courses as accurate as possible. So here, I just want to briefly show you how you will enter your courses and grades. There's a section for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So what you will do is you'll go into edit 9th grade. And here, you'll indicate the school name, the school year where you attended during 9th grade. So really important to have that transcript right in front of you to verify the years. The grading scale, Capo Unify uses an A through F grading scale. Semester is a course schedule that the district is on. So basically, much like previous sections of the Common Application, you'll select what category of class it is. You'll enter the full course name onto this section. The course level, whether if it was regular, AP, dual enrollment, honors, IB. Semester grades, you will enter in which grades you receive each semester for that course. And for semester credits, you will enter in the credits you receive towards graduation. And you'll do so forth for each of the classes that you've taken during each year of high school. For other courses, this is where you might be able to enter in courses that you've taken in 8th or 7th grade, such as an Algebra 1 or an entry-level Spanish 1 class. So you can also indicate this here as well. All right, we're in the My Colleges tab once again. And every college is going to have different supplemental requirements. So it's your responsibility to familiarize yourself with what those supplemental requirements are. So we have our two examples here, Loyola Marymount University and Soka University. So for Loyola Marymount, if I have any questions about the application, this is the contact number that I can use to either call or send them an email to. And this also will tell me what the deadlines are. If I'm going for early action or decision, this is what the dates will be. If I'm going for a regular decision, this is going to be my deadline date. A lot of you will be applying for fall 2023 because that's when you'll be starting university. I can also get an idea of what the cost of the application is, what their test policy is, if I self-enter courses and grades, what are the recommendations, how many recommendations, and who would write the recommendations, how many they need here. And also, it will tell me what the writing requirements are. So it'll tell me the Common App is required and 2 optional questions. So if I go into the questions tab here, this will ask me like, what is my start term, fall 2023? And if I'm going for early decision part 2, early action, or regular decision. And it's your responsibility to know the differences between what is early decision, what is early action, and regular decision. Every college has a different policy on what those three mean. If you need help in figuring out what it all means, you can always schedule a one-on-one with your futurology counselor. And if you qualify for a fee waiver, you can also indicate that here as well. Certain majors will require portfolio, so this is also a space where you can also upload your portfolio. For this section for academics, this is where you will choose your major. You can just scroll down here to view the majors, and you will go ahead and select your major. And you can also choose an alternate major here. Again, every school is going to be a little bit different, but I'm just showing you what this looks like for sake of tutorial. And if you're interested in a pre-professional program, you can just select that here. Statement of intent. This is why are you applying to our school? So this is definitely something you want to consider having some extra support, or if you need extra help in writing this, we're here at Futurology to help you construct that here as well. Contacts, so this is like, how did you hear about us? It's also kind of survey demographic data. And this is asking if you know any family members, any siblings, or who worked at said university. I'll just briefly scroll through this. And for the writing section, this is also where you can also answer any additional supplemental essays that the university might require. FERPA release form. So you will need to complete the authorization to allow your recommenders to have someone in admissions read your letters. So you'll complete this release form so that folks in admissions can read your letters of recommendation. Once you've released your FERPA waiver, you'll be able to add your recommenders. So you can either use invite recommenders. You would choose a category here that best describes your recommenders. So for example, counselor, you can add their information right here, email address. That's why it's important to have their contact information ready to go, first and last name. You could also use this section here. It's a little bit more streamlined, so invite counselor, and your counselor will upload your official transcript, school report, and letter recommendation if applicable. If you would like to invite a teacher, you would enter in the email address, what is the subject they teach, prefix, first and last name, and if they're completing a letter specifically for Loyola Marymount University. Every university you apply to will have this question. So if it's a generic letter of recommendation, we always recommend recommenders to have a generic letter of recommendation. You would select yes if they're going to be writing the same recommendation letter for every university you're applying to. If you know it's specific to Loyola Marymount University, for example, your teacher was an alumni, they graduated from LMU, and it's specifically addressing LMU, you would choose yes, and then no for any other university. Other recommenders, so if you have, for example, a mentor, coach, clergy member, etc., you can also use this section to invite them as well. And just for the sake of tutorial, this is what another university's separate section looks like here, just so you know that not all of these are going to be looking the same. So for Soka University of America, again, you have the contact information, you have the deadlines, you have the application fees, and you can definitely see here the application fees are different from LMU. You can review their test policy, what they require in terms of recommendations, and you can also just read additional information about requirements. You can see here that the Common App essay is optional. And you can also see you have 2 required writing supplements in addition to the application. So here you can go ahead and you can view the supplemental writing questions, and you can go ahead and upload it as a separate document. You did see it on LMU's section here for if you had anything to write or submit for their writing supplements, you can go ahead and copy and paste into a text box. Whereas here for Stoke University, you will need to upload a separate document. So just be cognizant on seeing how they're gonna want you to submit items. It's also be important to know how they want it formatted in there. So basically, after all of this is done, you're going to go ahead and review and submit your application. So since we don't really quite have anything for sake of tutorial, basically you're going to go hit submit. You're going to make the payments with a credit card. And if you qualify for a fee waiver, you can also indicate that when you submit. If you need some extra assistance in filling out the common application at this step, you can always schedule a one-on-one with a Futurology counselor. All right, so that's the bare bones of the common application. So let's just take a look at what else we need to keep in the back of our minds. All right, we're going to go over on what happens after you submit. What do you need to do? We recommend that you apply for financial aid. So we always provide families of the district. We have workshops, we have one-on-ones on how to fill out the financial aid form. We also have resources on our YouTube channel on how to fill out the FAFSA or the DREAM Act. Register for your application portal. Once you apply to a university and once you submit your application, you'll be receiving an invite via email on registration and your login info for your application portal. It's very important to check your portal on a regular basis so you know that you have everything, that the university has everything they need for your application so they can review your application. So it's important to make sure that you have everything checked off. You want to make sure that you have everything paid for, you have your writing supplements, that your letters of recommendation have gone through, and you can check your status on your application portal. Most universities will have an application portal where you can check your status. And you can use this opportunity if you're missing any items to submit any additional checklist items, whether it be a writing supplement, an additional letter recommendation, etc. And the important thing is to be patient. Most schools will start releasing their decisions between March and April of next year. So just write out that patience. And we're here to help you throughout the process as well. All right, thank you so much for your time. That was the gist of the Common App. If you have any questions about the Common Application or questions about college applications in general, you're more than welcome to set up a one-on-one with your Futurology counselor. You can check out the link in the bio to set up an appointment with us, and we look forward to meeting with you soon. Thank you so much for your time, and definitely check out our YouTube channel.